So I have a question here from a commenter who's asking specifically about my style of therapy. Hi, my name is Dr. Natalie Jones. I'm a licensed therapist. She says, "Hi, if I really connect with your style of conversation and problem solving, do you have any recommendation for specific type of therapy to look for?" That's a great question. Thanks for asking that. Um, I don't really have just one specific style of therapy. So um, I trained on a lot of different modalities when I did my education. So the ones that really stuck with me were Rogerian style therapy, Rogerian Rogerian, which is also called person-centered therapy, really just really the underlying theory behind that is people know what they want to do. They just need validation and support to make the decisions that they want to make. And so I use that style. But then I also trained, with people in the workforce, specifically working with companies and employees and things like that. And their emphasis was on short-term solution focused therapy. And so what that means is like people want real practical examples right now. People need to feel better right now because they need to live life right now. And so it's kind of a mix of that, behavioral narrative therapy as well. So what are the stories and themes that people create around specific scenarios? So I would say, if you're looking for a therapist, you may want to find somebody who combines and is well versed in theories, as well as like case conceptualization. Like for me, it's, I go beyond just the textbook stuff. So you guys hear me talk a lot about cultures: white, black, Mexican, Arabic, rich, poor, overweight, underweight, all that kind of stuff. You prison people that are high functioning and things like that. So I've worked a lot over the years, and I've worked in different types of settings. I've worked with children, I've worked with adults, I've worked with death and dying. So it also comes from people who uh, connect with different cultures as well. But my training back then was rigorous, and we had to do that. I would suggest finding someone that can, first of all, treat whatever your issue is, right? Someone who's well versed and experienced. And so I hope that helps. But also, I think, culturally, it can be helpful. But whatever resonates with you, if you feel like and a lot of people who come to me feel like they know, they're just not sure, or they've been conditioned to believe that they don't know, or they need to do this in spite of what they know, that kind of stuff. Then that's, you may want to explore the Rogerian, and that's really more of an older school. I don't really know of any Rogerian trained therapists as of recently, but short-term solution focused interventions work, as well as like crisis, interventions. I think it's helpful, especially for me when I'm talking to people who've been abused or who are abusers, to be well versed in how to recognize crises as well. So I hope that helps to answer your question. But definitely, I don't I don't know that I have any sort of magic hocus pocus remedies, for that. I think it's all about how you connect with your person and how helpful you feel like they are, in terms of practicality, resonating with you and understanding you and your situation. So, my approach is also very collaborative with clients. So sometimes I say things they don't agree with. Sometimes they say things I don't agree with, but we try to find a common ground and meet in the middle that helps it work therapeutically. But I hope that answers your question. Thanks so much for asking that. And if you guys like this, please like, share, and subscribe, and follow. Subscribe to the newsletter. Thanks so much.